Problem number 3 asks us to find the vertex, the x-intercept, and the y-intercept for this parabola, and then asks us to graph the parabola. So the first step would be to find the vertex. The formula for the vertex is the opposite of b over 2a, comma, and then once we get a number for this, we're going to substitute that back in for the x's, and we're going to put that for the y. So there's an imaginary 1 in front of the x, which would be our a, our negative 2 is our b, and our negative 3 is c. So the opposite of b over 2a. The opposite of b, the opposite of negative 2 is positive 2 over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1, which is equal to 2 over 2, correct? Which is equal, 2 over 2 is equal to 1. So the first part of our vertex is equal to 1. Now in order to get the y, we have to take our 1 and substitute it back into the original parabola for each of the x's. So we're going to have y is equal to 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. Now we're going to simplify this equation. So y is equal to 1 squared, which is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 minus 3. So now we're going to do 1 minus 2 is negative 1 minus 3. And then negative 1 minus 3 is equal to negative 4. So the y of the vertex is equal to negative 4. Now for the x-intercept, we're going to set y equal to 0. So we're going to have 0 is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now we're going to factor this in order to get the x-intercepts. So factors of 3 that make 2 are simply 3 and 1. And since we want the negative 2, we're going to make it a negative 3 plus 1, which gives us our negative 2. We're going to set each of these terms equal to 0. X minus 3 equals 0, and 0 equals x plus 1. We're going to move the 3 to the other side of the equation. So x is equal to 3. Then we're going to move the 1 to the other side of the equation. So then x equals negative 1. So now 3 and negative 1 are the two x-intercepts. How we write this is 3, comma 0, and then negative 1. Now for the y-intercept, we're going to set the x's equal to 0. So we're going to have y equals 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 3. So y is equal to 0 squared is simply 0. Negative 2 times 0 is also 0. So we're just left with negative 3. So for the y-intercept, we have 0, comma, negative 3. Since we now have our vertex, our x-intercept, and our y-intercept, we can graph the parabola. Now the shape of the parabola is going to be different than the circle. So the first step you have to do is graph the vertex, which is at 1, negative 4, which is down there. Now we have to graph our x-intercepts at 3, 0, and at negative 1, 0. And our y-intercept is at 0, negative 3. How the parabola is different is you come down from the left to your vertex point, and then you go back up through the 0, through the x-intercept. So in conclusion, the vertex is 1, negative 4. The x-intercepts are 3, 0, and negative 1, 0. The y-intercept is 0, negative 3. And this would be the graph of the parabola.